Louisa. Louisa.
Good morning, SKN. I am Cortensia Carty.
And I'm Naima Hazel.
We begin this morning with the weather forecast. It is mostly sunny and slightly hazy with a 10% or slight chance of showers, a high of 86 and a low of 72 degrees Fahrenheit. So great weather today, huh?
It is a nice, good, warm day.
Oh, Lord. Just don't get it to be a hot day, but I think it will.
Yeah.
Hey, grateful for life.
We take things for granted because we don't love the hot weather, but everybody's coming here for our hot weather.
For the hot weather, yeah. So Naima, Welcome back to the set. How does it
Thank
feel
you.
to be on Good Morning
I'm
SKN?
excited.
And 101 episode of that.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here for 101. 100 was really funny. I enjoyed that a lot.
Thank you.
And actually, yeah, I'm excited to be back. A little nervous, but you know, I love to be at GMSKN, so I'm excited to be here.
Welcome. We love having you. Too.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
All right, so we'll begin with the local news. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis is committed to safeguarding families. As the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis observed International Day of Families on Sunday, May 15th, the government has reaffirmed its commitment to safeguarding families across the Twin Island Federation. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Social Development and Gender Affairs, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, during his address to the nation in observance of on May 15th said, as servants of the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, we're reminded as a government of our covenant to safeguard the well-being and future of families across the Federation. Our government's strategic and holistic response, therefore, has given emphasized consideration to policies and programs spanning several sectors that target the vast array of challenges affecting the family structure. Deputy Prime Minister Hamilton reflected briefly on the words of former President of the United States, Lyndon Johnson, who posited that the family is the cornerstone of our society. More than any other force, it shapes the attitudes, the hopes, the ambitions, and the values of the child. And when the family collapses, it's the children that are usually damaged. When it happens on a massive scale, the community itself is crippled.
So we have to look out for the children.
We have to look out for the families.
I guess it's not about us anymore.
No, you know, it's funny. I see this actually a lot in my work.
Okay.
The importance of family. And I think that we focus a lot on relationships. But once our family structures break down, it's not a lie. It starts to cripple the society.
Not coming back, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. We continue with story number 2 by way of Skelec press release. General Manager of the St. Kitts Electricity Company Limited, Mr. Clement Williams, will be representing Skelec at the 2022 Chief Executive Officer CEOs and Leadership Conference with a corporate governance track for board directors, CEOs, legal officers, and corporate secretaries. The event is being held under the theme Leadership Matters. Learning and living through disruption and dislocation. The annual leadership event will be held at the renowned Atlantis Hotel in Bahamas from May 15th to 19th. Williams, who is a member of the CARILEC Board of Directors since 2019, said that he's looking forward to the conference presentations and unique opportunities for solving the problems of regional electric utility providers. Williams said, and I quote, "There is no doubt that the utility providers regionally are faced with unique challenges brought about by global geopolitical issues," end quote. I eagerly await the opportunity to dialogue with colleagues about best practices and solutions in this post-COVID-19 era. According to a press release from CARILEC, this conference marks the return of CARILEC's in-person events following a 2-year hiatus due to the COVID-19 pandemic. CARILEC is quite pleased to partner with esteemed utility member Bahamas Power and Light Company Limited, BPL, in hosting this leadership conference, which will feature expert regional and international speakers. This event is in keeping with CARILEC's mandate to provide knowledge sharing, capacity building, and network forums for members and partners towards a more resilient and sustainable regional energy sector. So that's good.
Yeah. Does it mean that my electricity bill will be less?
I was just going to say that. At least we're thinking the same thing.
I know. I'm excited. I'm excited to hear the workshop. Does that mean that I got a better electricity bill?
Let's
We do
hope.
always need energy solutions.
Yeah.
So, all right. And moving on. From Wood Media, the Charlestown Primary School has risen to dominance in track and field yet again by winning the first ever RAM-sponsored primary schools relay competition. The event was held in St. Kitts at the Kim Collins Stadium on Sunday, May 15th, 2022. The relay championship was judged using the medal count system, and the Charlestown Primary School at the final medal count copped 13 medals, 6 golds, 4 silvers, and 3 bronze. In second place was the Dr. William Connor Primary School, which received 3 gold and 3 bronze medals. Sandy Point Primary School placed third with 2 gold medals, 4 silvers, and 1 bronze. Charlestown Primary School is one of 4 primary schools from Nevis that competed against 16 primary schools on St. Kitts in the Relay Championship. Almost 600 athletes participated in the event. Most recently, on April 27, 2022, the Charlestown Primary School won the Gulf Insurance Inter-Primary School Track and Field Championship Mini Olympics at the Mondo Track in Nevis. In its over 28 years of existence of the Mini Olympics, the Charlestown Primary School has been the most consistent with its winning results. That is impressive.
Impressive, and that shows you why they are the winners.
They are the winners, yes. They were just a few schools against 16 schools, and they won. That's amazing.
Charlestown Primary take this thing very seriously. So
Yes.
kudos to Charlestown Primary. Congratulations on your win.
Congratulations on your
And the
win.
runner-ups, congratulations as well.
And now we'll be going to commercial, and we'll see you back at GMSCAN in a moment.
Consuming excess salt can lead to heart attack, high blood pressure, and even stroke, and other health-related conditions such as kidney disease.
You ever hear Earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, Earthquake, I come in Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced, and when it come, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't run to the door, we are in the exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that, because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box without ear. Take cover under a strong table or a bed, or crouch against an inside wall or in a corner, and cover your face and your head with your arms. Remember, DCH, drop, cover, hold on. Glass windows and doors, outside walls and doors in an earthquake, bad news. Take care yourself. Most injuries during earthquakes happen when something drop and hit people entering or exiting a building. Last thing, nobody run outside and ask, you feel it, you feel it? Remain calm, stay indoors until...
My man gone jail and mommy and daddy said they ain't gonna help. I all on my own. How could I be so careless? I wish I could go back to that now. But my education on hold. How could I let this happen? Don't let this happen to you. Contact the Department of Gender Affairs to find out about confidential offices and personnel available to answer questions about your sexuality or pre- or postnatal concerns.
This message was brought to you by Project Viola through the Department of Gender Affairs with support from the Basic Needs Trust Fund and the Caribbean Development Bank.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. We now continue with the regional news. The Privy Council rules mandatory death sentence in Trinidad constitutional. This from CMC. The London-based Privy Council Monday ruled that the mandatory sentence of death for murder in Trinidad and Tobago is constitutional and only Parliament can rewrite the law, it said. And quote, the 1976 Constitution has allocated to the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago as the democratic organ of government the task of reforming and updating the law, including such laws. Those laws will continue to exist only so long as Parliament chooses to retain them. The Privy Council, the country's highest court, unanimously dismissed the appeal that had been filed by Jay Chandler, who was convicted in 2011 of the murder of Kern Phillip in 2004 and was sentenced to death by hanging, which is the mandatory sentence for murder in Trinidad and Tobago, as laid down in Section 4 of the Offences Against the Persons Act 1925. His conviction and sentence were upheld on appeal by the Court of Appeal of Trinidad and Tobago and by the Privy Council in 2018. The appellant's sentence has since been commuted to life imprisonment. In his appeal, Chandler mounted a constitutional challenge to the mandatory death penalty, and the principal issue that was raised was the relationship between Sections 4, 5, and 6 of the 1976 Constitution.
Wow. And in international news, I'm just going to move right past that. In international news, Somalia has elected Hassan Sheikh Mohammed as the new president. This story comes from the Associated Press. Somali legislators have elected former leader Hassan Sheikh Mohammed as the country's next president, following a long overdue election on Sunday in the troubled Horn of Africa nation. Hassan Sheikh Mohammed, who served as Somalia's president between 2012 and 2017, won the contest in the capital, Mogadishu, amid a security lockdown imposed by authorities to prevent deadly rebel attacks. After a marathon poll involving 36 candidates that was broadcast live on state TV, parliamentary officials counted more than 165 votes in favor of Mohammed, more than the number required to defeat incumbent President Mohammed Abdullahi Mohammed. Supporters of Somalia's new leader defied the curfew to pour out into the streets of Mogadishu, cheering and firing guns as it became clear that Mohammed had won the vote. Many hope the election will draw a line under a political crisis that has lasted well over a year, after Mohammed's term ended in February 2021 without an election. Mohammed, who is also known as Farmajo, conceded defeat, and Mohammed was immediately sworn in. The new president struck a conciliatory tone in his acceptance speech from the airport compound in Mogadishu, which was patrolled by the African Union peacekeepers.
But imagine stay home and they still come out because they're celebrating.
Well, you know, it must be so challenging for you not to have a government for a long period of time.
Yeah. So they're happy.
Yes, so for those of you who are just joining us, I'm Naima Hazel, and I'm here guest hosting in place of course, Jamie, who we missed very, very much, but I promise
And who
you,
will be back soon.
He will be back soon. He's away for a very good reason, and he will be back very soon. So hopefully I'll be able to fill his seat. I think this is my first time in Jamie's seat. If you're watching, Jamie, I'm a little comfortable. I've got your cup too.
And Jamie, all the best in your exams. Make us proud. Make us proud, and we hope to see you very soon.
Yes, very, very soon. Well, there you have it. That is the latest for today.
The continued fight against COVID-19 requires the continued practice of public health measures across all sectors and in every community. Frequent and proper hand washing, wearing face masks, and physical distancing. Do you know who is not physical distancing? The Aedes aegypti mosquito. Let's avoid overloading our healthcare systems. This means simultaneously protecting yourselves and your loved ones from all disease, including mosquito-borne illness like dengue fever, Zika, and chikungunya viruses. Did you know that dengue is the most common mosquito-borne viral disease in the world? So let's get to work. Use window and door screens to keep mosquitoes out. Change the water in vases and scrub inside surfaces to remove mosquito eggs. Avoid using saucers with potted plants to prevent collection of water. Securely cover water barrels and drums with mosquito netting and properly fitted covers. Scrub the inside walls of water barrels and drums with detergent 1 to 2 times per week. Walk around the outside of your home and remove or overturn containers that can collect water and become breeding sites. Mosquitoes only need a small amount of water to lay their eggs. Remove unwanted cans, bottles, buckets, or used tires. Other items still in use must be properly stored in covered areas to avoid water settling in them. Clean roof gutters and air conditioner trays. Debushing and removing tall grass from around your home or establishment is also key to reducing mosquito populations. To decrease your risk of being bitten by infected mosquitoes, use proven personal protective methods too. Apply an effective mosquito repellent to exposed areas of skin according to manufacturer's instructions. Wear light-colored long pants and shirts while outdoors in the early morning and late afternoons. Further, protect vulnerable family members like pregnant women, children, the elderly, and persons who are unwell by using mosquito nets to sleep or rest, even during the day. Fight the bite and protect yourself and your family too from mosquito-borne diseases. This message is brought to you by the Pan American Health Organization, Office for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean countries.
Has anyone ever touched you here, here, or here? Well, these are actually bad touches. not good ones. And so, if anyone ever touches you in these areas or anywhere else that makes you uncomfortable, you must say no, then go and tell. Say it with me. Say no, then go and tell.
This message was brought to you by the Department of Gender Affairs in collaboration with Probation and Child Protection Services, the Ministry of Health, and the Pan American Health Organization.
As a hypertensive patient, in my home, I reduce salt intake by not adding salt during the preparation of my food, not having a salt shaker on my table, limiting the consumption of salty snacks, and choosing products with low sodium content. That's why I am Salt Smart.
And we're back on Good Morning SKN. Today we are connecting with our first guest of the day in London, England. Corliss Charles Sutton is the CEO of Success Within Your DNA Consulting, which provides coaching and mentoring services to professionals who are committed to their career. Corliss is a highly qualified financial executive with over 20 years of leadership and managerial experience. Today, we are pleased to speak with Corliss all about her business, Success Within Your DNA Consulting. Good morning, Corliss. Welcome to Good Morning SKN.
Good morning. Welcome, and thank you for having me on your platform today.
You are welcome. So, right off the bat, how did you get your business started?
Oh, well, it has always been a passion of mine. Leadership has always been a passion of mine. And many of you will know that I actually managed the RBTT Bank in St. Kitts. Yes. My journey started at Scotiabank, and it emerged into leadership. I managed the transition from RBTT to RBC, and then I worked internationally as well. So finance has always been my mainstay. And so leadership is one of the things that I believe, I would say God has gifted me with. That's my talent. It happens effortless. And I thought one day, well, what better platform to create than a company that can help others. One of the things that I do, I help persons who are feeling a void in their career. You know, they're feeling dissatisfied, they're struggling. I help them to unlock their full potential so that they can assume authority or they can gain progression if that is what they want. Whatever success looks like for them, I help them to achieve that. That's one of the things that I do.
Nice.
Wow, that's lovely.
I love that. And I love the name that you came up with. I know people would say, I love that you're in financial services. People think they're sometimes pigeonholed, but I love that your business is about leadership. So where does your name come up? Where did you come with the name Success Within Your DNA Consulting? Very interesting name.
Yes. Well, we are all born with greatness. And those of you who are biblical, you will know that even before we were formed, God knew what we would become. And so I believe that everybody's destined for greatness, and they've just got to be able to find that coach or that leader or that mentor to unlock it. And so I thought of that name, Success Within Your DNA, because that's one of the mantras that I thrive on.
Okay, all right.
So how do you implement your leadership skills, as you already spoke to your professional experience, in your managerial position?
Oh, well, it's something that I do every day. I manage a team of persons, and it's something that I have to do every day to make sure that we get the job done. It's been executed in a way. And at the same time, we've got to understand that people are our greatest assets. And so we've got to work along with them so that they can always become the best version of themselves.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so I can't help but notice behind you, you've got this background, Virtual Summit Unleashed. So I'm assuming you're going to be hosting the summit shortly. Talk to us about the name of the summit and talk to us about some of the objectives of this summit and inform us all.
Absolutely. So I am hosting a 14-day summit. It begins June 5th to June 18th. And the theme of this summit is Unleash Your Full Potential. I've got over 30, including myself, leadership experts from all around the globe, from the US, from the Europe, and from the Caribbean as well, to share their expertise and genius with you. And so it is going to be virtual. As I said, it's 14-day. Every day, just to give you an explanation as to how it will work, every day, 2 videos will be released for 14 days. Well, it will be 3 because, of course, by calculation. So every will release the videos. You can look at them. Once you register, the key is registration. You must register at www.unleashfullpotentialsummit.com. Once you register, then you have free access to look at these videos for 24 hours. Now, if you might be busy, you don't have the time, there is a VIP access. And that provides you with unlimited access. You can look at it for 1 year. You can look at it at your own convenience, all these videos. I tell you, you can't afford to miss it. The topics are very specific to leadership and overall development and women empowerment.
Oh, I'm always interested in empowering. Oh, so this is your panel of expert speakers. Yes, you do look like you have a pretty prolific panel here. This sounds like it's going to be a great summit. Very exciting. But we're going to go to a commercial break, but we're going to return so that we could talk to you some more, Corliss, and also to talk a little bit more about your summit and the work that you're doing. Very excited to have you here with us. And we'll be right back with Good Morning SKN.
Children, how can you tell a tsunami coming?
Teacher me.
Sammy?
My mother said when uncle jump in the pool and the water spoosh out, that's how you tell a tsunami coming.
Settle down, children. Settle down. Do you remember our tsunami song?
Yes!
Mommy, Uncle not here in the other shake. Hush your mouth. Daddy, Uncle not here and the sea gone.
Who cares? You don't see all them free fish? Quick, give me the bag.
This is how you tell a tsunami I come. Teacher says so. I would have failed in school, you know.
Sammy, come, let me go. They would have failed anyhow. Let me run, see, Sammy?
Most people consume excess salt from processed foods, such as snack foods, processed meats, instant meals, and condiments.
Instead, use fresh vegetables, ground provision, fresh meats, and natural herb seasonings, just like our grandparents did, and just like you did with this soup. We are Salt Smart.
Everyone is encouraged to adopt a healthy and positive approach to daily life. Here are a few friendly reminders.
When you go to the local market and food vendors, remember to maintain a social distance of 6 feet or 2 meters apart. And always wear your mask.
Always keep your hands clean. Wash your hands with soap and water or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer.
When dining, choose restaurants with staggered seating. This will lower the risk of transmission.
If you have a fever, cough, or other respiratory symptoms, please wear a mask and seek medical care immediately. Rest at home and do not visit the food vendors, local markets, or restaurants.
Good morning again and welcome back to Good Morning SKN. If you're only just joining us, we are speaking with Corliss Charles Sutton, the CEO of Success Within Your DNA Consulting, which will be hosting a virtual summit next month entitled Unleash Your Full Potential in the Workplace. We want to continue talking to you, Corliss, in this exciting discussion. Before we went back from the break, we had put up some pictures of some of your featured global experts and speakers. The summit features over 28 global experts and speakers. How did you select these speakers, and what can people expect from them?
Well, our selection was basically around persons who've got very strong business acumen. And most of our speakers are entrepreneurs, they're authors, and they're leaders in their various fields. Some of the topics that you can look forward to include mindset changes, because you've got to adopt a discipline. If you want to achieve success, whether it's in your career and life, you must adjust your mindset. And so there is a speaker who will be speaking around that, making that paradigm shift. There is also one that I know women would be interested in, particularly around the female hormones, leveraging your female hormones for higher performance. We've got that. And there are some very interesting and inspirational stories as well. I've got a leader who bought the company that fired her. And she's speaking about overcoming adversity. And all of these are hallmarks of success.
For sure, yes.
I love that she bought that company.
Yes.
I love it, yeah.
I love these topics. These are very exciting topics. I don't think that people would imagine, especially the one with the hormones. I would never think, we were having that discussion literally, I'll be honest. This morning, we were having a discussion about that. So I think that that's very fascinating. I hope people will really look to see some of these topics you're discussing, because I think this will be a fantastic summit. I'll definitely be tuning in.
So Carlos, without giving it away, when we speak to hormones, you mean our attitudes that we take on the workplace? Is it that?
It speaks about attitudes. It speaks about your whole approach, and it also speaks about that monthly that we all go through from time to time, and those mood swings and how to manage that and so forth. So it is very, very interesting. But I want to say that the men are not isolated here, because we all, although it is geared for professional and corporate women, there are topics to which the men would be interested in. And so I'm encouraging men to also sign up and register for this event as well.
Yes. I wish that more men would actually do more events that are focused on women. Then I think we would have a better understanding. It would create a better gender balance in the workplace, of understanding, there's nothing wrong with the situation. Women deal with things differently. You might have a way you deal with it. The leadership is different, but it's still leadership. So I think that's a really important point. Glad you brought that up.
Yeah. It's also a 14-day interview series. Can you give us some insight into that format?
Okay, so every day, what happens is this. Every day, an email is released to the registrants every day. And in this email have the various topics and the videos for persons to listen to. Yeah, you've got 24 hours to listen to these videos. But if you're busy, because it is 14 days, which is a long time, then we encourage you to sign up for the VIP access. And I've got a special for members of my community in St. Kitts. If you are to sign up now, there is an early bird special of just $47 for the entire summit, where you will be able to access these videos at your leisure and pleasure and at your convenience, because there is so many tips and ideas that you can implement so you can become a better version of yourself that you do not want to miss out on. So that's one of the things that I wanted to share with the audience today, to say, get in, click that button, and really make sure that you can leverage that opportunity, because it's not going to last forever. As I said, the topics are really, really exciting. And if you are serious about career, because the thing about it is that a lot of us have potential, but sometimes we get distracted. Sometimes we just simply give up. Sometimes we think that, you know, I'm just working for a paycheck, but that's not enough, especially for women. You know, the sky is the limit, and we can help you to really unlock that potential so you can rise and you can grow and you can just become great in terms of what you do. And this is what we are teaching in this particular summit. All of the topics that the speakers are going to be speaking about, I also teach in my courses as well. And so these topics were designed and communicated by myself for the speakers to address.
Yes, and so in your regular courses, which you just spoke out in your regular business, how would people get access to that level of your expertise? How would they get access outside of your summit? How would people access your expertise in your regular business, Success Within Your DNA Consulting?
Yes, so I've got a website, www.successwithinyourdna.com. And also, if you want to reach me personally, you can reach me at Corliss at Success Within Your DNA. So all of this summit that you will experience is really surrounded about what I do.
Yes, and that's so excellent. I think that a lot of the times as women, especially in working in business, we sometimes even feel, I did a session the other day on imposter syndrome, and I actually did it, for young women and their mentors. And some of the mentors afterwards were like, I think this was meant to be for the young women, but I was feeling that, you know, as a woman. And so I think that a lot of the times that we do really need this kind of support and guidance and leadership at that level. And also to just see that many successful women and seeing even you, Corliss, it really makes us feel like, no, I can do this. I knew Corliss. Corliss is out there. She's doing it. There's success in her DNA. And I know like there is success in mine as well. Yes.
Well,
awesome.
I think one of the things we've got to encourage is persons investing in themselves. That is very important. And I would encourage anyone to invest in a coach. I've had coaches and mentors during my career, and I could not be at this place if I didn't have them. You know, there have been mountaintops, there have been valleys, but once you've got your coach, it helps you to navigate towards them and out of them. You go around and you may climb over them. But coaches do that. And I think a lot of people basically see coaches as more sporting focus. But there are coaches that can really help you in different phases of your life. And for me in particular, I'm the one who's going to help the women, especially those emerging leaders and those existing leaders, you know, people who are perhaps going on retirement and they just don't know what is their next move or next step. That's where I come in to help you along with that.
Okay. So how can persons register for this virtual summit, Corliss?
Right. So you can log into the website. It's www.unleashfullpotentialsummit.com. That's what you have to click that link, you get in, and all of the access will be there for you. You will be able to see all of the speakers and, of course, what topic they're going to speak on. You'll be able to see the bio of all these speakers as well, so you can get comfortable and decide which day you join these speakers. All of that is going to be arranged for you.
And how can, when people register, do they have a deadline as to how late they can register, or can they just join maybe halfway through the summit and decide, okay, I'd like to join and register now?
I am advising persons to register now. Remember, if you register now, you get the early bird special, because during the summit, that fee is going to change. You can register up to June 5th, and you can also register between June 5th to June 18th, but your special may change during the meat of the summit.
Okay. So, callers, it was indeed a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you for reminding us all that we do have plenty potential in our DNA, and that we're never too old to start over. We hope this is not our last conversation, and we do wish you all the best on your virtual summit on Leash.
Thank you very much, and I look forward to all of you signing up. I tell you, you have to be in it. You can't afford to miss this. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. So to our viewing audience, stay tuned. Up next, we have a thorough discussion on hypertension.
If you are a smoker, please pay attention to this message. According to the World Health Organization, there are 1.3 billion smokers in the world today, and tobacco kills 1 out of every 2 smokers. Did you know that there is enough nicotine in 5 cigarettes to kill an average adult if ingested whole? There are more than 7,000 chemicals in tobacco smoke, of which more than 250 are known to be harmful. More than 69 are known to cause cancer, and 16 are classified as Group 1 carcinogens. Smoking kills. Are you ignoring that warning every time you smoke? Please stop. Smoking can lead to severe health complications and even death. It affects almost every organ in the body, especially the lungs and heart. It raises blood pressure, increases blood clots, and increases the risk of stroke, heart attack, and cancer. It is hard to quit smoking, but it is not impossible. Don't let tobacco destroy you. Remember the 4 Ds to curb your tobacco cravings. 1. Delay. Set a time limit before you decide to smoke. 2. Drink water. Go get a drink before you do anything else. 3. Do something else. Have a goodie bag handy of other things to do. And 4. Deep breathing. Take at least 10 deep breaths every time you think about smoking. Quit smoking and live a longer and happier life. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health, St. Kitts and Nevis.
As a hypertensive patient, in my home, I reduce salt intake by not adding salt during the preparation of my food, not having a salt shaker on my table, limiting the consumption of salty snacks, and choosing products with low sodium content. That's why I am salt smart.
Pray every time I feel can't do no different. Swear me have a win, that's why I'ma try again. Pray every time I feel, cause God always a listen. One day I have to win, that's why I'ma try again.
Decor specializes in flowers for all events, from birthdays to weddings and any other special occasion. What's a better way to express to the people you love than by providing the finest selection of beautiful flowers and gifts? So when you think of flowers, think of us, Dreamy Decor.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. So happy to be here today with you,
Happy to have you.
co-hosting. Thank
Yes.
you. And today we're going to be having a very exciting discussion. I know I said exciting, but you're going to be like, oh, what are they talking about? Well, today is World Hypertension Day. That was what you were expecting, I know. This is an international campaign designed to increase awareness of hypertension and issues surrounding it. And in an effort to stand in solidarity with victims of hypertension, a lot of us are affected by it, we'll be joining in this discussion and helping to spread awareness on this it's really life-threatening disease.
Eventuality.
An illness. So do you know anybody we started here that has hypertension?
Plenty. Yeah. Both my parents. So I was told that I have to be careful, although every time I check my pressure, it's normal. Thank you, Lord. So yeah. And a few more folks, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know hypertension, if everybody knows what hypertension is. It's also known as high blood pressure. Now, everybody knows this because, whenever you go to the clinic, people are always checking their blood pressure, or they have a blood pressure machine at home, or, oh, this week my pressure is up. So that is hypertension for those of you who are like, girl,
hyperintention.
Girl, her pressure is up. Yes, so increased tension. And so it's important that we learn about blood pressure.
It is important. So how much do you know about blood pressure? I don't really know a lot. I just know maybe the low cause of it. So blood pressure is the force that blood exerts against the wall of the blood vessels. This pressure depends on the resistance of the blood vessels and how hard the heart has to work.
Oh, I didn't actually know that was what it was. I think if you think about it like that, then you would see how important it was. Like,
yeah, because something's blocked, it's not moving.
Yeah, it means that could cause a heart attack.
It can. And I also think blood pressure is associated with a heart attack.
Heart attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, so we're here learning as you're learning. We're here learning with you. And we're learning blood pressure is determined by your numbers. Now, this part I know because I know when you go, I don't understand the numbers, mind you. Yeah. But I know when you go to get the blood pressure and they just you know what that is.
The sound lady,
right?
The sound lady. I always have a sound
Then
person.
you have like your top number, which is the systolic pressure. That's like the first number. It measures the pressure in your blood vessels when your heart is beating, right? And then you have the bottom number, which is their diastolic pressure. And that's the second number, and it measures the pressure in the blood vessels when your heart rests between beats.
Yeah.
So you're not supposed to have too high one of the numbers. I'll be honest, I still don't.
When you hear, it's systolic and diastolic?
Yes.
So the systolic is the good thing. I think the diastolic is a bad thing because the number at the top is always supposed to be lower.
Oh.
Once that number is higher and that one at the bottom is lower, you are in problems. You gotta go up to the hospital and get your little pill under your tongue and your drips.
Oh.
That's how serious it is. Yeah.
I didn't even realize that. And I wonder if hypertension is an age thing because I know some young people who also have pressure.
Yeah, as we call it, yeah, pressure.
We call it pressure, right? But hypertension is a very common disease, and apparently it develops when your blood flows through your arteries at a rate higher than normal. Yeah, one of those things that causes that, as we were just talking about earlier.
Heart attack.
It causes heart attack, but one of the things that causes hypertension we were talking about is diet and salt.
Our favorite season in the Caribbean, salt.
Yeah, we love a salt.
Love a salt.
If you have nothing else, you could put salt. And everything has salt.
Everything.
And we love food with salt and grease and like.
Oh my gosh, we just love the bad thing that's gonna kill us.
Those things that are just gonna take you out. Like that's it.
Take you out.
That are gonna really affect you.
Yeah.
So it's measured in measures of mercury, like we talk millimeters of mercury, and some blood pressure ranges. Low blood pressure. So this is what you were just telling me. A low blood pressure is considered to be 90/60 or lower. That's good blood pressure. That's low blood pressure. That's not good.
That can kill you too.
Yes, because we always talk about high, but we don't talk about low blood pressure. And so that's not good for you to have low pressure. So 90/60, that's very, very low. Then your normal blood pressure is considered to be between 90 and 60 and 120 and 80. I know I'm usually around 120 and 80. I want to believe I have good blood pressure.
Me too, yeah.
I want to think I'm healthy and I don't let myself get too overwhelmed and I eat okay. But then you have high blood pressure and it has various stages. Tell us about these stages.
So stage 1, it's 130 to 139 over 80 to 89. So that is high. That is almost Springfield.
Yeah, that's serious when you say that.
That is Springfield residency right there, and we don't want that. Then we have stage 2, which is 140 over 90 or higher. Wow, you are considered hypertensive if your blood pressure reaches 180 over 120.
Wow.
So we really have to be mindful what we put in our mouths.
We really do, and we really have to be more aware. I know as we get older people are much more aware of their blood pressure and they check it much more often. But I think as younger people and even middle-aged people that maybe we should be a bit more aware of also our blood pressure. Like when's the last time you measured your blood pressure?
I'm trying to get the exact date, but I think it was the 12th. Because I had to go to the doctors, and both doctors, her blood pressure is well.
Okay, now she's just showing off. I'm like, November, I got a physical in November, and I checked, and I was feeling really good. Like in November, I checked as if that was something. And she's like, the 12th of the month of May.
I know, the 12th. Or most recently. Recently.
I wonder how often you're supposed to check your...
Maybe not daily. I would think daily only if you're older
and hypertensive, right? Okay,
maybe
so
once a week?
Yeah, well, how would you even know? So what are some symptoms of blood pressure? Well, these are some. If you are seeing blurry or you have double vision, that might be a sign that you have high hypertension or high blood pressure. If you feel lightheaded, or if you feel like you want to faint, or you're very, very fatigued or confused, this happens actually to a lot of people feeling very overtired. Irregular heart palpitations, that's also a sign that you might have high blood pressure. Nosebleeds, difficulty breathing, nausea and or vomiting, that can all be signs that you have high blood pressure. Or severe headaches, I think that's the one that people get quite commonly. Chest pains, and this one's a big one. And anytime you see this, you should be concerned. Blood in your urine.
Rush to your doctor.
Rush to your doctor. Anytime there's blood in your urine, you should always go to see a doctor.
But the Caribbean way of dealing with blood pressure, right? Or hypertension is what? If you feel all these symptoms, what do we do?
Drink a bush tea.
Drink a bush tea. Drink some pills and lie down. We don't ever think we should go to the hospital because our pressure or our pressure is blaring.
Yeah.
We always do the natural.
Yeah, and you know, we don't have to go to the hospital either. I did an event this week with the community nurses. Go to your local health center and have somebody check you at your local health center, because that's what they're there for, and they really do. It's like every nurse I ask, they're like, because I just love the community. I love working with the people and helping them with their health. So I think that we could go to our health centers. We have very good health centers, and you can get your blood pressure checked there.
Yeah. And then you can do what's necessary to control the blood pressure. As Caribbean people, we need to just eat less salt. Eat
a little better.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's one thing that we learned in the last few years is that we have to take better care of our temples.
Better care. Drink plenty water. Mind our hypertensive business.
And mind our hypertensive business. That's going to be a slogan. I don't know if World Hypertension Day knows this, but if for World Hypertension Day, the Caribbean slogan should be drink your water and mind your hypertensive business.
Yes.
That's the best. I'm going to use that all day.
So what else can we do? Maybe change our diet?
Maybe be more aware, because I think a lot of times we also add salt. So like we get some, we always add in more salt.
Because we don't think it has enough salt. We spoke to Dr. Samuels yesterday, and she was speaking on something like that to control the various communicable diseases that we acquire as we grow older, because hypertension and diabetes seems to have the same sort of symptoms. But diabetes is cut the sugar, hypertension is cut the salt. So where do we meet? How do we meet in the middle?
That's interesting. I really think we need to start doing a lot more awareness around our health practices and how we eat and how we treat our bodies. I think that would do a lot for longevity and for us as a nation to be a lot healthier.
Indeed. Indeed.
That's pretty interesting. I didn't think I would know that much about hypertension. And now I'm really fast. I'm sitting here like tick, 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 tick in my head thinking, I think I ought to look a little bit more into that. And if you have loved ones at home who you think are at risk of hypertension and they have not seen this show, encourage them to go back and watch this segment, or to speak to your doctor, to go to your health clinic and ask the community nurse about hypertension and get yourself a blood pressure check. It never hurts to know.
It never hurts to. Up next, we continue our discussion with another guest host. We recommend that you stay tuned.
You're gonna like this one.
Everyone is encouraged to adopt a healthy and positive approach to daily life. Here are a few friendly reminders.
When you go to the local market and food vendors, remember to maintain a social distance of 6 feet or 2 meters.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
Where are you going? I just mopped the floor and now the chair leaving marks all over the place. Come on, go in bed, see? Sometimes I just can't take you on.
Violence is expressed in many ways. Most, unfortunately, go unreported or unaddressed for many reasons. If you or someone disabled is being abused, contact the police at 465-2241, social services at 467-1314, or the St. Kitts Nevis Association of Disabled Persons at 465-2151, 663-9077, or 663-4116. This message was brought to you by the Department
When growing
of
your
Gender
savings,
Affairs
where
in
you save
collaboration
matters
with
more
the
than you
Pan
think.
American Health
Dare to
Organization.
compare and see for yourself why you should start saving and investing at First Federal Credit Union. You don't have to settle for cents. Let your money make sense. Reap a higher return by stashing your cash in a high-yield savings account or term deposit and earn up to 4% interest on your money. At First Federal, we say yes.
Did you know that there are certain seasonings that contain more salt than you actually need? There are more natural, healthier ways to reduce the salt intake in your dishes by using natural things like onions, garlic, seasoned peppers, and even thyme and merengue powder.
Welcome back to Good Morning SKN. We are introducing today Girl Talk.
Girl Talk. So, to be honest, even though I'm just filling in for Jamie, this wasn't your segment anyway, Jamie. And we know we did promise you a new host, but that's going to be in the next segment.
Yeah.
And we're going to enjoy some Girl Talk for this segment.
We are gonna.
So, what are we talking about?
Wow, oh my gosh, good stuff. We will discuss topics that many girls and women face and even share personal stories on how we are overcoming this challenge. So today's topic is, drumroll, insecurities.
Oh my gosh.
Why us?
And we were just talking about imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about insecurities. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
So what are some of your insecurities?
Oh, I actually think that people don't think that. I think they see me as being very confident all the time. Yeah. I saw EK the other day. We were at the same event I told you for the community nurses. And he was hosting. I had just done the red carpet. And I was like, oh, I don't envy you. And he was like, I get so nervous when I host. And he was like, me too. And I was like, you do? No. And he was like, you do? But yes, you really do. I think that sometimes for me, an insecurity I have is that I know that I can do certain things, but sometimes if it feels like it's too easy, I feel like I've been faking it. So I actually do sometimes struggle with the imposter syndrome. Like, are they gonna know that I'm just faking it?
They're not gonna know.
No, but also it's a false narrative, you know? So maybe this is a good segment for me as a psychologist, but it's a false narrative that we tell ourselves sometimes to talk ourselves out of taking chances or taking risk or a fear of making mistakes, you know, because everybody's always watching you.
Oh, man.
And so you have this like fear, but for those who know me, I don't really have a shame box. You know, I don't really have a shame box. So like I can make the mistake and be like, okay, I made the mistake, but
you're
that's
okay with
something,
that.
I get very, very nervous. I think in the big crowds, even though nobody would think that, I get quite nervous.
I wouldn't think that.
No, when I get on the stage, I could just go, but I do actually get quite nervous because you just don't know. A show could go the wrong way, and a crowd, they could be with you or they are not with you. And so to me, that's very nerve-wracking. But like just this kind of thing, it doesn't make me feel nervous. So I feel like, so in my professional life, sometimes I feel like, okay, I'm good at my job, so I don't have too many insecurities there. But sometimes also as a psychologist, I think like, what if I can't help this client? So, but it really is a false narrative you're telling yourself because you can and you have those skills.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, even I was taught when you don't feel a type of way, or let me phrase that differently. Leave your problems at home.
Yes.
So you come to work and you put on a facade, as you said. Us women, we are famous with those facades.
We can wear them masks.
Famous. But that's good, huh? Because nobody will ever know. Not saying I have issues,
true.
but just saying, just to clear the air. But we always put on a facade like it's all well, it's all okay. And as you said, I didn't know you get nervous. I always, since I met you way before, you always came off to me as this confident person. You're ready to take on the world. So it's, and EK too, funny enough, and EK is a comic, so it's funny enough to hear that he gets nervous, and he makes it look so easy when he goes up there.
You just get up and you get it done, but every single time you feel a little bit nervous in your professional life.
And my weight sometimes could be a little insecure, because sometimes people see, oh, you get fat. I didn't get fat, I put on some weight. People, I am not 16, I'm not 13, I'm not 14 anymore. I'm getting older.
Do you feel like people almost, I actually feel like people feed this feeling of insecurity in others, especially around our body positivity. Like if you lose some weight, you're too skinny.
Or something wrong with you? Oh no,
I'm not sick. I don't have HIV because I lost some weight. Yes, I said it out loud. If you lose some weight, it doesn't mean you're sick, you know? And then you gain a little bit of weight and they're like, gal, you get fatty. You're like,
I love the dialect on you.
Like, come on. Like,
be empathetic. Come on. Say, oh, you've put on a little weight. Looks nice on you. Even if you don't mean it. Don't come at us with the
Or don't say anything. I have a girlfriend who's told me that in 2022, nobody could talk to her about her weight. Like if she gains 15 pounds, she gained 15 pounds, but nobody is to say to her, you gained 15 pounds. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to start adapting that. Like, what gives you a right really to speak to me about my weight? And I think that feeds a lot of insecurities. And also what a lot of girls see on Instagram for young girls, because they think, oh, I want to look like that.
But they don't know.
But they don't know. Yeah, because you got women out here getting BBLs, some Brazilian butt lifts, and they're getting their breasts done, and their Botox, and then they're getting their tummy pulled in and a rib taken out, and they think, oh, I want to look like that. But that person doesn't even look like that. You know, it's funny. I was watching. Do you watch Bling Empire?
No, I don't really watch television.
You don't watch television?
No.
For those of you out there that watch Bling Empire, there's this like Asian character on Bling Empire named
Netflix.
Netflix.
So now you're gonna send me to look at Netflix.
Girl,
okay, I'll try.
Named Kimmy, and she looks like, my son said she looks like Kendall Jenner, you know, like the Kardashian Jenner. And I was like, no, actually Kendall would look like her because Kendall didn't look like that before.
Exactly.
So this woman's born like that, but Kendall has done surgery to look like that. So really, doesn't Kendall Jenner look like this woman? But it's so interesting, our insecurities, that we would look at others and aspire. As Black women, we would want to make our lips smaller, our skin lighter, our hair straighter, and then you would see, and longer, and then you'd see see white women and or Asian women and other cultures, and they're adding lip filler and getting suntan. So I think it's very subjective, our physical.
How about the German lady that changed her entire whiteness to blackness? That is ridiculous, and that's not even a good black.
Yeah, and it comes from a lot of insecurity about our physicality and how people see us.
Yeah.
I think often we care more about how people see us than how we see ourselves.
But then it's because society makes us feel that way. Because if, as you say, if I go out with a few pounds, you're fat, but I'm not fat. I just put on Asian weight.
Yes.
And that's what I call it. It's Asian weight. So I don't understand what it is, or this ain't do right, or no.
Yeah.
Everybody, we weren't born to look the same. So the fact that all of us want to look the same, dress the same, wear our hair the same way is just ridiculous now.
Yeah.
So it's making the average person that cannot afford that kind of lifestyle feel like, okay, if I don't have this hair, if I don't dress like this, if I don't maintain this weight, if my butt doesn't look a type of way, I don't fit in.
Yeah, and also who are beautiful just in their own right.
Exactly.
Like you feel like, okay, I have to wear a lot of makeup. No, you don't. Maybe you're just very beautiful in your natural skin. Like I wish I could just always wear my natural skin. And like, you know, we have some real issues with even our color. Like I love to see, growing up, I always used to be like, you know, you used to talk to the boy on the phone, what do you look like? Oh, I'm tall and I'm dark skinned. They see me, they'd be like, girl, you're not dark skinned. I'd be like, I am. Like in my mind, I always had an insecurity about being too fair because my mom is quite fair. And I always wanted to be darker. So it's so subjective how we look at our insecurities.
Why darker though?
I just always thought darker was much more beautiful. Yeah, I just thought like I just wanted to be like this dark African princess, you know, like I just always felt like you looked more beautiful. And I was always attracted to people who were darker, but they were never attracted to me. Yeah, because I didn't realize I wasn't dark at all. But yeah, that was the insecurity that I had when I was younger. And even now I'm like a black girl on the beach. Like which black girls are on the beach? Like I'm trying to get a tan on the beach. Don't laugh if you see me on the beach. I'm perfectly comfortable. The darker, I just feel I look more beautiful with a little bit of color.
I love it.
And how about also you're a wife and I'm a mother. What about those kinds of insecurities? Because we don't really talk about our insecurities as parents. And that's an insecurity that I think almost every woman, if you're a mother, struggles with, because we're always like, are we doing a good job with our kids? Anything, and it comes across because everything our kids do, somebody comes to tell you. It's just like the being fat or too skinny. Oh, I saw your daughter this. Oh, your son got in trouble at school. Oh, and then we feel like this need to defend it, like somehow it makes us bad parents. You know, in counseling, the parents come in and like, oh, my kid's smoking weed. Most kids are smoking weed at that age, you know. Oh, my son doesn't want to do the dishes. Most boys don't want to wash the dishes. You're not a bad parent because your kid's going through developmental stages, you know.
And with the wife, it's like you're trying your best to please your husband. And then it's two different personalities that clashes a lot at times. So like myself, I'm Guyanese, my husband's Scottish. I don't speak the way he speaks. So I have to try my best to understand what he's saying. And I keep saying, you need to understand what I'm saying. I know you're not Guyanese, but I'm going to come back with a Guyanese slang because that's in my system. That's what I grew up with. But yeah, so that's a difficulty to ensure that you're communicating well and you're doing all the wifely duties well. So that's
and then I think people also judge. Anything goes wrong in your relationship, it's like, well, what's she do? And then you start to think like,
it's never him.
As a woman, like, what did I do? Or this person left me, or they don't want to be with me, or like, is it me? So I think that insecurity is something that we really need to talk about. Now, of course, you know, as a counselor, I'm going to encourage you, if you're really struggling with deep set insecurities, to seek counseling and also not to surround yourself with negative people who just have nothing good to say to you about who you are. Those are not your people. Prune them from your life. Sometimes we could just remove the insecurities, the literal people, places, and things from our lives. And so
there you have it from the psychologist, the best counseling advice. And just be yourself. Forget people. Hey, there's only one of us, so let's be us.
It's true. There's no, you can look at somebody else and be like, I wish I was like that person, but nobody is just like you.
Exactly.
So look at the ways that you're unique. She might be prettier than you, but she might be smarter. She might have bigger breasts, but you've got beautiful long legs. You know, she might have natural hair, but you've got beautiful straight hair or stronger hair or a lovely color. But nobody is each other, and we have to just accept who we are.
We are.
So we want you to stay tuned. When we come back, We will be having, well, I won't be, but there will be a guest having a discussion on, yes, International Day of the Boy Child. I'm sure some of you didn't know that was a thing, but it really is, and it's so important. So I'm so excited for this next segment with you and your guest host. Stay tuned and return back with us here at Good Morning SKN.
Has anyone ever touched you here, here, or here? Well, these are actually bad touches, not good ones. And so, if anyone ever touches you in these areas or anywhere else that makes you uncomfortable, you must say no, then go and tell. Say it with me. Say no, then go and tell.
This message was brought to you by the Department of Gender Affairs in collaboration with Probation and Child Protection Services, the Ministry of Health, and the Pan American Health Organization.
Bless up, Dejo here, and I'm doing my part in the fight against COVID-19 by following all safety protocols and, most importantly, rolling up my sleeve for the vaccine. So I'm encouraging you to do the same, because that's of protecting ourselves, our family, and our friends. So don't wait, vaccinate. Let's roll up to roll out.
Yeah. I know we can make it. It's only just a phase. Once we're vaccinated, and everybody gonna be safe. Everybody gonna be safe. One kind, yeah. One people. We are roll up to roll out, yeah. Cause no man's alone, do what's right, alright. Cause I love you, brother, my sister. And we're in this together, my sister, my brother. I don't wanna lose you. I love you too much. I think it's better for us, yeah, yeah. It's better for us. Hey, I don't wanna lose you. I love you too much, yeah, yeah. It's better for us. Tell your mommy to roll up to roll out.
No cash, no card, no problem. Dad, embrace the freedom.
These teen boys nowadays get me so upset. I see these teen girls with their big bellies and you want to tell me y'all couldn't protect her and yourself? Come on. Now don't tell me no stupidness about you feel embarrassed about getting a pack of condoms or asking somebody for one. That ain't nothing to be ashamed about. You should be proud that you are making a wise decision, but you still have to abstain from having sex with someone under the age of consent. If your boys are pressuring you to have sex and you don't want to, then don't. You are in charge of your life, not them. I heard another one saying it's sweeter without a condom. But my granny always told me, no glove, no love. So let me tell you something. It's sweeter to have money in your pockets and not have to support a child at that young age. Before I say anything else, the best way to prevent teenage pregnancy is to abstain. In other words, no do it. Let me talk to the big men troubling underage girls.
Why you sleeping with your daughter? Eh, eh, ah.
you're not live clean. Your girl at 16, and your daughter at 13. Hey, so girl I look me, but me no in a that. Big man no deal with back pan back.
You understand where I'm coming from, right?
This message was brought to you by Project Viola through the Department of Gender Affairs with support from the Basic Needs Trust Fund and the Caribbean Development Bank.
The continued fight against COVID-19 requires the continued practice of public health measures across all sectors and in every community. Frequent and proper hand washing, wearing face masks, and physical distancing. Do you know who is not physical distancing? The Aedes aegypti mosquito. Let's avoid overloading our healthcare systems. This means simultaneously protecting yourselves and your loved ones from all disease, including mosquito-borne illness like dengue fever, Zika, and chikungunya viruses. Did you know that dengue is the most common mosquito-borne viral disease in the world? So let's get to work. Use window and door screens to keep mosquitoes out. Change the water in vases and scrub inside surfaces to remove mosquito eggs. Avoid using saucers with potted plants to prevent collection of water. Securely cover water barrels and drums with mosquito netting and properly fitted covers. Scrub the inside walls of water barrels and drums with detergent 1 to 2 times per week. Walk around the outside of your home and remove or overturn containers that can collect water and become breeding sites. Mosquitoes only need a small amount of water to lay their eggs. Remove unwanted cans, bottles, buckets, or used tires. Other items still in use must be properly stored in covered areas to avoid water settling in them. Clean roof gutters and air conditioner trays. Debushing and removing tall grass from around your home or establishment is also key to reducing mosquito populations. To decrease your risk of being bitten by infected mosquitoes, use proven personal protective methods too. Apply an effective mosquito repellent to exposed areas of skin according to manufacturer's instructions. Wear light-colored long pants and shirts while outdoors in the early morning and late afternoons. Further, protect vulnerable family members like pregnant women, children, the elderly, and persons who are unwell by using mosquito nets to sleep or rest, even during the day. Fight the bite and protect yourself and your family too from mosquito-borne diseases. This message is brought to you by the Pan American Health Organization, Office for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean countries.
Self-health management refers to the measures people take to manage their own health. You and I should remember to wash hands often with soap and water, or use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid touching your eyes, mouth, and nose. Take your temperature morning and evening. Watch for symptoms. Persons with diabetes or hypertension are reminded to take your medication regularly as prescribed. If you have no symptoms, you may carry out your normal routine and boost your immune system. When you are outside, avoid public spaces and wear a mask at all times. If you develop symptoms, put on a mask and seek medical care. Do not take public transportation. Inform the doctor of your travel history, any contact with confirmed or suspected cases, your occupation, and whether anyone around you has similar symptoms. If you become ill, please rest at home. Wear a mask and isolate yourself from others in your household. If you share a bathroom, disinfect daily using 1 part bleach to 10 parts water. Everyone must work together to reduce the spread of the coronavirus.
Yesterday, 16th May, was International Day of the Boy Child, and this day is set aside to celebrate all the positive elements that boys bring to their families and communities.
Jamie is taking a short break, so we thought it important to have a male presence in hosting this discussion. So we have with us Inote Inanga, who is well known in several capacities, including as host of the, and quote, only good news on WinFM. Virgil Jeffers, the first male director of gender affairs in the Federal Ministry of Social Development and Gender Affairs, who began in his post at the start of this month, is a former principal. So congrats, Virgil.
Brilliant. Now we have Reverend Troy Watson, who is currently a pastor and also a probation officer in the Department of Child Protection and Protection Services, and a former gender officer. And rounding up the panel is Mario Phillip, who is a gender officer in Nevis Island Administration for approximately 2 years. Just recently given the charge of delivering the World Day of the Boy message on behalf of the Nevis Island Administration Minister, Honorable Hazel Brandy Williams. Now, later we will be joined by Lawson Percival. He's not lost and found, he's just Lawson Percival, former police officer and founder of Operation Future and current probation officer in the Department of Child Protection Services and Probation, with the focus of prevention and diversion of monitoring of juveniles who get in conflict with the law. So, welcome.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good to be here.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. So the theme for the World Day of the Boy 2022 is boosting optimism, restoring self-worth. Gentlemen, can you each take a turn to comment on this with the respect of your field of expertise?
Oh, sure. I'll go first.
Go, Mario.
And, the theme boosting optimism and, with a focus on self-worth as well. That's the international theme. Here in St. Kitts and Nevis, in line with that, we realize that you can't really boost optimism and increase your self-worth from the outside. It has to be something from the inside that's worked out. And so we decided to make our local theme, Boys Under Construction, building positive attitudes in our boys.
I love it.
Because of course, we feel that construction is something our boys love.
Yes, yes.
Right? Building, breaking things down.
Indeed.
But it also causes us to really think, the building positive attitudes. It really causes us to think that, boys aren't just as they come, but we all play a part in what they turn out to be.
Yes,
and so the positive attitude, that's what you need to ensure that your outlook can be optimistic, your future can be optimistic. So that's why we decided to have that our local focus, building positive attitudes.
On the construction, indeed. Virgil?
Okay. As men, I think it is quite fitting that we take the charge in molding the young boys so that we can have a positive future. We know that there's always some negative pertaining to boys, so to try and change that perspective, I think we as men, we have a task ahead of us, and it is something that we'll definitely take very seriously, that we too can have a brighter future.
That's that.
Well, good morning. My perspective is similar to that of Mario, in that we need to appreciate that the theme in itself is a challenge to the individual boy in terms of ownership. If the person does not embrace the idea of trying to improve their self-worth, there is no boosting of optimism. Optimism is about a perspective. So I embrace that. Nonetheless, we have the issue of trying to ensure that we do it as a collect, where we are saying to young men in general, this is what we would want of you to be and become the best person that you can be. So the energy therefore should be trying to create a synergy that all boys can appreciate that they have a place and there is meaning and worth to them individually and collectively.
Thank you. So this next question for me is a bit personal, because when I was little, my father would travel and he would buy a lot of, he would go overseas on his trips, and he would always buy lots of stuff for my sister. And like perfume and clothes, and he would give me samples. You know when you go buy perfume and you get, and he was like, hey, cool. And so I always used to wonder, like, how does she get all of these things and I don't get them? So do you, now this is not to say he neglected me, but I want to know, like, do you believe that the boy child has been neglected? Because sometimes we tend to place that emphasis on the girls must be protected and you have to make sure they're this way, and, you know, but in these parts, do you think that the boy child has been neglected?
I don't think it's neglected. I think it's the way in which boys would have been socialized.
Okay.
So, you know, the parents are our socializers when it comes to children.
That's true.
So that is the
Mario, I want to hear your perspective on this. Yeah, exactly.
I don't. I feel you. I sympathize with you. You felt neglected, all right? So
with the samples,
you deserved more than samples. Yes, boys neglected. I want to say that it might be the case, right? There are two theories that speaks to the development of boys and their achievement in the Caribbean context. Very important because our context is vastly different from other places around the world. And one is male privileging and one is male marginalization. They seem to be opposite ends. But the result is that boys tend to underachieve in our Caribbean context. So where it's male marginalization, it might be that, you know, they are just disregarded as being disgusting, might be too much to handle, and so we can have that neglect coming out. And so it could be give and take. There are examples of both, I would say.
And the reverend.
Neglected? No.
Okay.
The provisions are such that society does more for women generally. So it is always easy to find a token or a gift for a woman. But the good news in it is that you were given a sample. That is the good news. Because you got a sample, it says that there's nothing wrong with men having nice things as well. As to the commercialization of that idea, that is another story. But I would not say that boys were neglected. We're shaped different. For example, we buy dolls for girls. But what is the name of the same thing for a boy?
Action figure.
There you go. So it is a matter of how we market it and what is the provisions that are made.
You know, it's interesting you brought up that gender juxtaposition. My daughter just told me this week she wants to be a hacker. And I'm like,
where'd you get? Go, girl.
Yeah, I'm like, go, girl. I'm like, I'm gonna teach her. And she was like asking me like, are hackers bad? I'm like, they have good ones, they have bad ones. But what I'm saying is that typically you would not hear that from a 6-year-old little girl. And so with respect to the boy child, you know, we are somehow putting them in these silos. Compartments. So if you would want to tell us some of the challenges that boys face, we are going to be right back. This conversation is flowing.
I know, it's flowing.
It's flowing from the rivers of good stuff.
But we will continue. We will continue. So stay tuned, viewers.
All right.
Self-health management refers to the measures people take to manage their own health. You and I should remember to wash hands often with soap and water, or use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Avoid touching your eyes, mouth, and nose. Take your temperature morning and evening. Watch for symptoms. Persons with diabetes or hypertension are reminded to take your medication regularly as prescribed. If you have no symptoms, you may carry out your normal routine and boost your immune system. When you are outside, avoid public spaces and wear a mask at all times. If you develop symptoms, put on a mask and seek medical care. Do not take public transportation. Inform the doctor of your travel history. any contact with confirmed or suspected cases, your occupation, and whether anyone around you has similar symptoms. If you become ill, please rest at home. Wear a mask and isolate yourself from others in your household. If you share a bathroom, disinfect daily using 1 part bleach to 10 parts water. Everyone must work together to reduce the spread of the coronavirus.
And we're back. You know, we were speaking with these gentlemen about International Day of the Boy Child with 3 reputable men in our federation, and they are very accomplished. And you can tell from the way they're composing themselves and the way they're dressed and the elements of their conversation. So we have Virgil Jeffers. I've already told you guys what they do. So Virgil Jeffers, Pastor Troy Watson, and Mario Philip, all the way from Nevis.
Yes.
Came across the waters. So tell us some more about these challenges that you would have faced, at least with respect to the boy child in your community, or even your experience, if you have any stories beyond the one that I shared.
Okay. Well, as I mentioned, the male marginalization versus privileging. I think in the home, what is really the problem is privileging, where in terms of socialization, girls would be given the tasks to do at home, and the male is privileged to get the slack off with the chores, right? So all they do the things that boys actually, if we be honest, we consider fun, raking the yard or doing something like that.
Raking the yard.
Right? Where the girls have to learn sewing and cooking and cleaning and a whole lot of things. And that is one problem that we have to face. We are faced with as gender officers. So it's something that I see, and the outcome that it can have negatively on girls, but it also has a negative outcome on boys as well. And so we need to ensure that men know how to look after themselves, look after the home, because they would be in a home one time, and that's where the setback comes in, where you may not have an optimistic future if you have to depend on someone else.
Yes,
so that's one of the things you have to look at.
May I chip in?
Please do.
Okay, so male privileging. It is subjective in the sense that how I grew up, my mother had 4 sons, no daughters.
Okay.
And there was housework to be done. So who does the housework?
Mommy.
That is where you're incorrect. Okay. so I was raised to do all of those. And the other issue that Mario brought up was about marginalization. Sometimes I think the marginalization is self-inflicted, because growing up how I grew up, we are not seeing much out there for us. Not much provision is made.
Okay.
Because the society is very sexist and classist.
Okay.
And it is still happening in today's society, where if you're from a particular geographical area, that you're not seen as equal to others. So sometimes the male child is burdened with the reality that based on my community, not much is expected
of me.
So if you don't have that sort of drive to be and to become, it becomes challenging as a male. And then you're also in a situation where the place you spend most of your time as a young male is in school. And when you go to school, the men are not properly cared for in our schools, because we are teaching to the test. We're in a mad rush to ensure that we complete the syllabus. And if that is not done, those who are not able to keep pace with what is happening will be left behind. And usually it is the boy child, because the techniques and methodologies do not really cater for men. Men do not really want to sit down in a classroom. Men don't want to sit down in a studio like this. we want to be about doing things. So if you're telling me I must sit there at a desk in a classroom, which is more suited for a young lady, I am going to have trouble as a boy. A simple thing. Look at it when school bell. Virgil can speak to it, as principal and as teacher.
Yeah.
When the school bell goes, the young ladies are always first to be there in the line. You need another 5-10 minutes for the boys to settle down. So we are raised differently, we focus on different things, so provisions are not made for us. And then we are called lazy, we are sent from the class. We're punished more than everybody else. And if punishment is to be meted out for the same crime, how we discipline the female child as against to the male child, it's different. So the provisions are there, yes, but the system seemingly is against us.
And you know, Rev, as you mentioned, the school, that's one of the places, because I studied, actually did a study in college regarding my school. And then as a teacher, you know, I would have actually seen it played out. That in school, in education, is where the marginalization is, I think, the strongest in our society. You mentioned the teaching style and so on. And it should be no surprise because we have the majority of female teachers. And in gender, when we consider like women in decision making, we need them to be there because they would be the ones to know what female issues are. Right? In the same way, in education, if you only have all female teachers, they would be when they're thinking their lesson plans, they're thinking with a female mind, right? And so that's where the boy tends to be left behind. The boy might be, as Rev said, wants to play and do all sorts of things. So I used to take my classes outside, and you know, we used to have the English class over, you know, football or doing some catch or something like that. When I was a teacher, you have to find ways to reach both sexes.
That's correct.
And I must add that of late, there would have been a push in the Ministry of Education to have differentiation in the schools. And it is more catered towards having the teachers meeting the needs of the children.
Lovely.
So that would have been a positive in terms of having the teachers catered to boys. There was some push for grouping. So that we all know that it's not everybody's going to sit down and listen. Teachers teaching and everybody's going to listen. Some has to do with their hands, some have to do with their ears, some have to do with their eyes. So that would have been the push coming from the Ministry of Education. And rightly so, my colleagues would have said it rightly, but what we didn't realize is that when we look at the children who are going to the reading center, it's majority boys. Majority of the boys who are going to the reading center who are having difficulties in reading. And it's not that they can't read, it's that they're not catered for.
I think a part of that also has to do with the fact that men are more tactile and we like the hands-on. So if we could change the classroom setting, like going back to the days when you used to be under the tree and do object lesson and get them to be integrally a part of the lesson, even if it's just the English language, ensure that the topic is something that they can apply. If we cannot see how it is applied, it is not relevant to us, so there's no value for it. Why should I do it?
Well, I'm excited that you gentlemen all have your positions because I'm seeing that you're playing your part to include the boy child and just not exclude them, because it's so sad to hear that they've been excluded for so long.
And I want to say, you know, to any teacher out there listening, boys, they're a handful, but you know, go the extra mile with them. See what would work. Don't just write them off as disgusting or always doing something wrong. See how you can really engage their minds and get them interested in what's happening. Because there are some thinkers, you know, behind all of that fidgeting and wanting to do a lot of stuff.
Sorry to wanting to be the imp in this situation, but you know, we're in a situation where we have mostly females as teachers, women. But that was a part of men marginalizing themselves. So we need to see the history of it, because prior the teachers were men. But when the women started moving in and getting leadership position, they moved out.
So gentlemen, move back home as soon as possible. Thank you for coming and chatting with us today. We wish we had... Hopefully this is not our last conversation. We hope to have a next one soon and have you back in the studio. So thank you, audience. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.
Y'all intimidated, that's crazy. I know my vision can be hazy. Please don't hate me, I'm trying to stop saying sorry so much and stop making a fuss on myself. Sometimes I just, I can ramble a bit. I have a hard time sticking to one topic. I'm pessimistic as well, trying to be perfect like Cell. I'm kind of a mess, can you tell? Oh, look at it, I'm doing it again. I grab a pen and I write out all my feelings so I can vent. Not knowing when the thought will cement. I'm still in suspense, the press is intense. I'm trying to reach the bar bar that you set by. Acting like others who make you smile and who make you laugh. Now I realize I need a different path, cause I can't reach it now. Not like this. To see I gotta stop being them and start being me. Cause I'm just trying to be better. I'm so sick of the pressure. I know what I'm worth, I'm not lesser. I'm just trying to be better. I'm just trying to be better. I won't quit, I'll never say never. I know what I'm worth, I'm not lesser. I'm just trying to be better.
I wear a mask because I want to protect my child, but also I want to protect his classmates and his teachers.
I wear a mask because I care about the frontline workers who will have to work even harder if those around me get sick.
I wear a mask to protect my family. I wear a mask to protect you. I wear a mask because it is the right thing to do.
I wear a mask because I don't want to put any vulnerable individuals at risk, like my elderly loved ones.
I wear a mask because
we are all in this together.
Has anyone ever touched you here, here, or here? Well, these are actually bad touches, not good ones. And so, if anyone ever touches you in these areas or anywhere else that makes you uncomfortable, you must say no, then go and tell. Say it with me. Say no, then go and tell.
This message was brought to you by the Department of Gender Affairs in collaboration with Probation and Child Protection Services, the Ministry of Health, and the Pan American Health Organization.
各位朋友，大家好. Greetings, my lovely people. I'm Chantel, residing in Taiwan. 12 hours time difference. It's nighttime here, morning time in SK. I'm busy and on the go. However, I always manage to keep up to date with what's happening in SK. All thanks to Good Morning SKN. Good morning SKN. Ciao, bango!
Played everything we were just talking about because there was a lot of applicable stuff during the break. But we're speaking about International Day of the Boy Child with 3 distinguished men in our federation. You know their names. Let's get deep into the conversation. What do you think, or really share some more of the issues that, or emphasis being placed on the, oh my goodness, female empowerment than the mentorship boys. We just talked about this. We were just talking about the emphasis of how females are being raised and versus how the boys are being raised. So let's get back into what you were saying earlier today, Reverend. Reverend. He said men are not being pursued by women, or women are pursuing men more these days. Talk about that.
No, I'm saying it is a wonderful thing for a man to know that he's of value and worth, and it is okay for a woman to pursue a man. Right.
Preach!
But then...
Now, I want you to say it in your pastor voice. It's important for men to be valued and appreciated. Because if you don't do it, men shall not be appreciated and accepted for their work.
No, but here's the issue. We have socialized our women to think that they are prizes to be won and they're to be protected, and we do not do the same for men. So essentially, if a woman goes after a man, she's seen as being loose, out there, promiscuous, and things of the sort. But it is okay for a woman to go after a man,
Says the last
especially the right woman.
Right
Going
woman,
after
the
man.
road after the right.
I mean,
I could tell Pastor, you know, but Ruth pursued Boaz.
See?
In a smart way, from a mother-in-law, yeah, in a smart way,
She wasn't overzealous. She did it well, tactfully.
Yes,
Instructions. So
Presented herself well.
You want to be pursued. Men, let me talk for men want to be pursued, not stalked. So
By the right.
Women must know that, you know. I like when Pastor mentioned that, you know, we socialize women to be seen as prizes or things to be won. So we're not. We are human beings.
We are prizes.
We are not objects,
Yeah.
right? So we should feel comfortable if, you know, to pursue, just as Ruth did. So we are meant to have to be socialized. So it comes down to socialization.
Yes.
Okay.
So that, because as I mentioned during the break, some men feel kind of, you know, weird, like, what's this?
Why is she coming after me?
It's not England. What is she pursuing?
should a woman propose? Should a woman propose?
That was my next question. Should a woman propose? And what would be society's view on a woman proposing to a man?
And then I may ask you,
And if the man says no.
don't women propose all the time?
Yeah, I've seen it.
I've seen it on television, but I've never seen it locally.
They propose
They do, but I
subliminally
think
and directly.
They propose and
men
propose.
can handle the rejection better than a woman can, I think. Because I think, this is my opinion, not the opinion of all women. Let's get that
No,
clear.
but it's factual. It's not an opinion. It's factual.
It's factual
It is
because
factual.
maybe we can't handle the letdown, so we don't want to do it. Because most of the proposals we would have seen on TV, Virgil, most of the women are rejected, right? Or the man just don't take it serious or just pondering. Next minute, the ring disappears. So yeah.
No, but we need to.
That is true.
But we need to go to the deeper issues. When a man is pursuing a woman, he wants marriage because marriage is really for the woman. Marriage is a woman thing. Let's be straight. It's a woman thing. Hardly ever you find a man who is going to do it just for the sake of doing it. He's doing it because society says the woman should be married. And a woman is valued, one, when she's married, and second, when she has children. And if she doesn't meet those two criteria, then there's trouble for her. But then, here's the other side of it. The man goes in, let's just say, for sexual favors. A man is rejected. Yes, he's going to cry, he's going to headache, he's going to bawl, whatever. But then he's going to say, well, there are other fish in the sea. When a woman offers herself, sex is not just sex, she's giving herself. So if you reject her, she's going to say, well, there's something wrong with me.
Exactly.
Or there's something wrong with you.
Earlier today.
Then again, are you heterosexual? A lot of things will come into play because they do not deal well with being rejected. But the issue is not about the rejection, it's about the socialization of our boys to know that they're also of value and worth.
Thank you.
And it is okay to have good stuff.
Okay.
For example, Mother's Day is gone. Next month is Father's Day. Let us hope that this year, Father's Day is not cancelled.
Please treat the fathers well.
Yes.
So let's hope that Father's Day is not
No,
cancelled.
it's not canceled. It was never canceled because some of us do go out of our way.
Or postponed.
Our dad. Yeah. It's not going to be postponed.
Deferred.
How many commercials do you see on TV for Father's Day?
Well, you know, we have plans for fathers. For the Department of Gender, we may do something, you know, great
nice.
to make
I
sure.
like it.
And we have some women who they're the ones who are pushing it. They want to do that.
Do you see that?
Fathers may
We're
have something
working
in
for
store.
the dads. We're working for
But
the dads.
Pastor, I would want to disagree with you a bit and say that marriage isn't a woman thing. I would like to believe that it's a God thing. It's also a society thing, right? Because marriage isn't only a covenant between the man and the woman, but we are gathered here in the presence of many witnesses. It's communal, right? And there are some virtuous, upstanding men who want to be married as well, because they want to, you know, have the security and safety that it brings for them and their family. But it is also important, as we talk about the proposal, whether or not, you know, well, who should do it. I think our boys, in terms of them getting married, we don't have them socialize St. St. Kitts and Nevis. There's this fact that I repeat almost every time I speak in forums like this, that our country has the highest percentage of single parent families in the English-speaking Caribbean. It's been so since the 60s, right? And that translates into the problems where we see our boys being willing to become married and forming solid and lasting relationships that redound to the benefit of their children. And you can't do something if you never had the example, and that's where we talk about mentorship. That's very important. So with boys not being, in our society, men not being willing to be married, maybe because they haven't had an example or they had bad examples.
So let's piggyback on that, and in real quick before we go, just in your opinions, in what way society can boost optimism and restore self-worth of our boys in our society? And Pastor, you just spoke about this whole drive that men are valued too,
Right.
men are prizes. So what can be done beyond what we're doing here, which is bringing
we need to be equitable in how we deliver the messages. For example, from the church's perspective, I think it is about time we start showing worth and dignity to women in our pulpits and giving men more opportunity to participate in activities, because most of our groups, most of our churches are women. Yes, the leadership might be men, but the issue is ensuring that the message is not skewed to either of the sexes.
What about
integrating everybody?
What about you, Virgil, in the schools? How can we, you're doing part of that also, but what more can be done beyond people like you to restore this value in men, in boys?
Well, I think I would have said it earlier, where the teachers definitely would have to cater for the needs of the boy. Also, the society has to take partnership with the schools to make sure that that is possible. Businesses too, they can lend a hand by doing apprenticeship, so that, you know, if a boy is deemed troubled, we don't just cast him out, but we can have him paired with a business, or even an older brother to do either big brother mentorship or even the business mentorship. And if he's so disgusting, why not put him to work with his hands and put him to work with the carpenter, so that he can be of a product for society.
And Super Mario, in one word. I'm going to challenge you to sum everything real quick in one word.
The Department of Gender Affairs is actually giving awards to boys. We're trying to make sure they know that they are valuable. Right now, the Junior Minister, Honorable Hazel Brandy Williams, she is at 2 schools, St. James and St. VOJN. We are doing that all week this week. It's also happening here. Well, it should be happening soon on St. Kitts, because we're doing it together. And we are also having prominent men in the society giving shout outs to those boys and letting all the boys know you're valuable and you can be what you want to be. Set your mind on great things.
If Calypso Reggie was still alive, he would say, I like that. All right. Thank you all for being here, and we'll be back after these short messages.
As a hypertensive patient, in my home, I reduce salt intake by not adding salt during the preparation of my food, not having a salt shaker on my table, limiting the consumption of salty snacks, and choosing products with low sodium content. That's why I am salt smart.
Just trying to be the best version of me. I cannot be what you want me to be if I can't love myself. 'Cause I'm so sick of that pressure. I know what I'm worth, I'm not lesser. I'm just trying to be better. I'm just trying to be better. I won't quit, I'll never say never. I know what I'm worth, I'm not lesser. I'm just trying to be better. I'm just trying to be better. I'm so sick of the pressure. I know what I'm worth, I'm not lesser. I'm just trying to be better. I'm just trying to be better. I won't quit, I'll never say never. I know what I'm worth, I'm not lesser. I'm just trying to be better. I'm just trying to be the worst version of me. I cannot be what you want me to be if I can't love myself. Cause I'm so sick of the pressure. I know what I'm worth, I'm not lesser. I'm just trying to be better. I'm just trying to be better. I won't quit, I'll never say never. I know what I'm worth, I'm not lesser. I'm just trying to be better. I'm just trying to be better. I'm so sick of the pressure. I know what I'm worth, but not lesser. I'm just trying to be better. I'm just trying to be better. I won't quit, I'll never say never. I know what I'm worth, I'm not lesser. I'm just trying to be better.
Children, how can you tell a tsunami coming?
Teacher me.
Sammy?
My mother said when uncle jump in the pool and the water spoosh out, that's how you tell a tsunami coming.
Settle down, children, settle down. Do you remember our tsunami song?
Yes! Mommy, uncle not here and the other shake.
Hush your mouth.
Daddy, uncle not here and the sea gone.
Who cares? You don't see all them free fish? Quick, give me the bag.
This is how you tell a tsunami a come. Teacher says so. I would have failed in school, you know.
Sammy, come, let me go. They would have failed anyhow. Let me run, see, Sammy?
And we're back on Good Morning SKN. It is that time of the day when we let you know what's happening. So Naima, what's happening?
I don't know. There's going to be a blowout sale at Kiwi Dan Boutique. They're having a 70% off blowout sale. That's no joke. That's 70% off until Saturday, the 21st of May. 70% off on all men's, women's, and children's clothing, as well as accessories. The items are reduced to as low as $24. Now, you know you got a lot of things coming up. We got a lot of events coming up.
Plenty.
So you do not want to miss out on this deal. If you do not know, Kiwi Dan is located near the traffic lights on Baker's Corner, Wellington Road, Bastier, St. Kitts, and the boutique opens from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily.
So what did you think about the show today?
Listen, it was really good. I liked the last session. I was
my gosh, I wish we had more time.
I know. And I'd love to hear male perspectives.
Yes,
sometimes.
because they don't speak. So when they speak, it's like engaging. It pulls you in.
Yes.
I enjoyed them.
We were outside saying, you know, we really need to do much more engagement, a gender engagement between women and men, so we have a better understanding of each other. I think it would do a lot to advance us as a nation.
It would. And I'm happy that we have the men that are in charge, and the first men in charge of the gender affairs.
Yes.
So
I have to think twice. I was like, oh, it's true. That is the first male director. We've had male PSs, but never a male director of gender affairs. That's going to be pretty exciting. That's my department. So
look at you.
I'm excited to be working over there.
Yeah, he promised me he'll do well for us because I keep asking him and Mario, especially since those two are exactly engaged in the departments, to just help the boys because we need the boys. Without the boys, we won't be able to have generations to come because it takes two to tango.
Yes.
So
and it was really great to see St. Kitts and Nevis because, you know, I find we don't do enough work between St. Kitts and Nevis. And there's some areas where St. Kitts is very strong and Nevis needs some support. And there's some areas where Nevis is very strong and St. Kitts could use some support. So I think we need to really work more often on our human togetherness and our resources. And then we had the earlier show, the earlier segment with Corliss.
Yes.
That was really
Look at that.
I love to
knowing
see...
that we can still do it no matter the age.
And I think I also love to see our local community, people that you know, and just see them out there just making a success of it, just taking a chance. I feel that same way about Studio 327, like just taking a chance, like have an idea, and I think it's something that will benefit my community, and I'm just gonna take the risk and I'm gonna do it, you know? So I really love that. So that was very exciting.
It was. So this is a time where we say thank you for joining us today. Remember to follow us on our social media platforms, mainly Facebook, Instagram, and of course YouTube at Studio 327 Inc. Like, subscribe, follow, and share.
And leave us a comment and let us know what was your favorite part of today's show. We will see you all tomorrow. Excited, I'll be back
at
8 a.m. when you start your morning with us here at Good Morning SKN.
Have a great day, guys.